Hey guys, this is Cody with Fin and Feather. I am making a video today on something y'all have requested for a long time now, and that is to do a tying tutorial on my deep fry. For those that y'all don't know, the deep fry is one of my most popular patterns. It is one of my staple flies that I use in the boat when I'm guiding clients or I'm fishing myself. It has caught me some of my best fish that I've put into the boat personally and with clients. It's an easy casting fly, a good swimming fly. Trout love it. But one thing that's great about this fly is it's not just a trout pattern. It's one of those flies that you can put in your bag, put in your boat, go in a variety of different waters and use this thing with a lot of success. Here it is. It's the deep fry here. And as you can see, it's got a big deceiver tail and just a really nice fly. As requested, we're gonna teach y'all how to tie this thing, and hopefully y'all can get out in your home waters and use this thing and have a lot of success too. All right, we're gonna start with the hook. We're gonna do a B10S stinger hook in size 4. I'm gonna get my thread on the hook shank and just give myself a nice thread layer to get going with. And then we're going to use the double pupil lead eyes in medium. And this is black with yellow and black. And I'm going to start wrapping this eyes in, getting them tight where they won't roll or twist onto that hook shank. Flip your hook over, do the same thing on the opposite side. Make sure everything is nice and even. Now we're going to add our saddle feathers. Once you selected your feathers, measure them out on the hook, and then I normally take my feather and clean off the quill so I don't have a mess down there on the back end. This makes it nice and easy to tie in. And I'll add both of these quills, make sure they're lining up perfectly with each other, and then I'm going to tie this right on top of the hook shank. Next, we're going to add our Marabou feathers. I use blood quills. So on this yellow deep fry, we're going to add an olive Marabou feather on the top side. I measure it out where the tips of this Marabou is about 1/2 to 3/4 down the saddle feather. Once I get it measured in, I'll tie it down on the top of the shank, get it cleaned up, and then we're going to add a second Marabou feather and make sure these tips line up with the first piece, and then split this feather directly in the middle on this hook. Next, we're going to come in with some Krystal flash. This is a gold Krystal flash. I'm going to line the tips up to where they end at the same spot that the Marabou does. Tie it in on one side and then flip it over and make sure that it's lined up evenly, and then cut it off to where it matches with the Marabou on the opposite side as well. Then we're going to take some gold polar chenille here, tie it in on the hook shank, and then we are going to do forward wraps all the way up to behind these dumbbell eyes. Make sure that you're not crossing over what you've already tied on. That way everything looks nice and neat. And now we are going to clean this up a little bit so we can tie in our streamer brush. And we're going to use EP Foxy brush in 3" and yellow. I'll normally put this wire in front of the dumbbell eyes a little bit and then tie it all the way back behind it where it's nice and secure. Get this brush nice and tightly secure on this hook shank. That way you can really put some pressure on these wraps here. Taking this gun cleaning brush and making sure these hairs are all going back the same direction and they're not laying on top of one another is very, very important with this fly. As you can see, every time I do a wrap, I'm going to come in here and brush this thing out and make sure everything's nice and neat. So after we do 2 wraps behind the eyes, I'm going to do a figure 8 across the dumbbell eyes here, 1 on each side. And then after that is the fly is done. We just gotta catch this streamer brush, get it fully tied in here, snip out what we don't need. Make sure you get really close and don't have any of that wire sticking out when you cut this. And after that, just come in, clean it up with that brush again, and then right behind the eye and just get that nice and neat, and then come in and whip finish. If you're a perfectionist and those little hairs bother you, just come in and just snip those off. The fish really don't care. And there it is. That is the deep fry.